Good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to the third session of political science. So, I won't be taking much time. So, the last part, whichever we left yesterday, we are going to discuss today in this session. Hardly 40 to 50 minutes it will take, and then I'll relieve you. So, please confirm whether whether I'm audible or not. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? So shortly I'm going to start the session third session which we left yesterday. In the first part of the political science revision series, I discussed about section A, which is of 16 marks, and then in the second part we discussed about section B and section C, which includes 64 marks. And today the last part we will do it, we'll touch it, and then we'll go through the case study as well. So am I audible? Can you hear me? Please let me know. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Yeah, I am fine. How are you all? So let's start with it. So please confirm. Can you hear me? Is there any buffering? Yes sir. Ankit Biswa also is here. Very good. Sit here. It will be a great help for you also. Okay. Shall we start? Please please share this link with others also, that they can also join it. It will be of great help for them. The last moment revision will help you a lot. Okay. Let's just wait for one more minute. Let others also join it. Okay, so let's start. So from time to time, please keep on dropping a comment so that I'll come to know that you all are still with me. Okay, so let's start with judiciary today. We'll start with judiciary. Yesterday we have left it over here. Judiciary, first of all, we need to know the meaning of judiciary. What is the meaning of judiciary? The third most important organ of the government. Government has three organs: legislature, executive, and judiciary. And judiciary is also one of the most important organ of the government. Okay, so what is judiciary? So judiciary is a branch of government responsible for interpreting laws, resolving dispute, and ensuring justice. So if you are asked what is meant by judiciary, then you can write this one. Judiciary is a branch of government responsible for interpreting laws, resolving disputes, and ensuring justice. Resolving disputes, ensuring justice. Interpreting laws, resolving disputes, and ensuring justice. Okay, now what are the conditions essential for the independence of judiciary? So this is in the case of both India and USA. Okay, what are the conditions required in order to keep judiciary completely independent? The first point you have to mention it over here is security of tenure. The judges cannot be easily removed. Okay, though they are appointed by the president, but they cannot be easily removed by the president. Okay, the second one is salaries. They are given handsome salaries. They are given good salaries. Okay, that means so that they may not be attracted towards any sort of bribe and all. Okay, good handsome salaries are given to them. Okay, and the third important condition is that they are not allowed to practice after retirement. Judges of Supreme Court are not allowed to practice after retirement. Okay, they are not allowed to practice after retirement. Okay, now next, number 4. Number 4 is that there is a separation of power. That means judiciary is completely kept independent from executive as well as legislature. They are kept separated. They are not at all allowed to interfere in the functioning of judiciary. Okay, no interference from executive and legislature. Then next one is that appointment process. This you can keep it at the first also. How are the judges appointed and what makes the judiciary independent? That means judiciary judges are appointed based on merit and qualification. Only the qualified persons, only those who have experience and those who have the degree, those who have the knowledge about law, they are only appointed as the judge. So simple thing is that judiciary is completely kept independent from executive and legislature by keeping their tenure fixed. Once they are appointed, they can remain in office till the age of retirement, and in the case of India. Okay, now let us move on to the other part. And in that is this one we have discussed about India. Now in USA, how is judiciary kept independent? So life. So federal judges hold office for life, subject to good behavior. That means if their behavior is good, there is no such particular term mentioned in the US Constitution regarding the tenure of the judges. Until they can work properly, they can continue in office. Okay, then security, same. Salaries, financial security is properly given. So during their tenure, salaries cannot be reduced, and independent appointments are there. Who appoint the judges? The simple thing is that judges are nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. So judges in America are nominated by the president and are confirmed by the Senate. So Senate also plays a very, very important role. The next one, judicial review. So judicial review. So what is mean by judicial review? We'll discuss separately. Then non-political role. See here. Judges focus solely on legal interpretation without political interference. Simple over here. There cannot be any political interference in the working of judiciary in USA. Okay, now the powers of Indian Supreme Court and the American Supreme Court. First of all, the powers and functions of Indian Supreme Court we will discuss. The first one is original jurisdiction. So what is mean by original jurisdiction? The cases which comes to Supreme Court at the first instance is known as original jurisdiction. Now what are the cases which falls directly under the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court? The first one is dispute between union and one or more states, disputes between two or more states, and if there is an infringement of any fundamental right, that can also fall under the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Now appellate jurisdiction. First of all, what is mean by appellate jurisdiction? The cases which comes to Supreme Court at the cases which comes to Supreme Court in the form of appeal from lower court, it is known as appellate jurisdiction. Okay, that means Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal in India. Means Supreme Court is the last court where appeals can be heard. Okay, now so appeals can come to Supreme Court from High Court as well as Tribunal and other lower courts. So appeals can come from High Court as well as lower courts to the Supreme Court. Okay, appeals can be related to civil cases, criminal cases as well as constitutional cases. Okay, now the advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court. So what is the advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court? The President of India, just remember, President of India can seek advice from Supreme Court or can seek opinion from Supreme Court on some legal matters. So there is no binding on the President, binding on the Supreme Court, that Supreme Court has to give opinion whatever has asked by the President. Okay, and if given, it is not necessary that President has to follow it. So it is just advisory. So Supreme Court has advisory function. President can seek advice from Supreme Court on some legal matters. So Supreme Court is not bound to give if given to President fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are protected through writs. So there are different types of writ. First one is habeas corpus, just to know the meaning. Okay, to have a body, protection against unlawful detention. If a person is illegally detained, then the court can order for presenting the body in front of the court. Then second one is mandamus, third one is prohibition, and certiorari and quo warranto. These are the different types of writs which can be issued by the Supreme Court. Now what is mean by judicial review? This is also one of the important function of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can review laws laws, whether that law passed by legislature is as per the constitution or not. That means legality of the laws are checked by the Supreme Court. Not all the laws, whichever laws are challenged in the court or a part of law which is challenged in the court will be checked by the Supreme Court. That is known as judicial review. Now next one is power to interpret the constitution. The Supreme Court has the final authority to interpret the provisions of the constitution. So it's not easy thing to be understood by the common people. So it can better be understood and clarified by the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the constitution. Okay. Now power to punish or contempt. Supreme Court can penalize individuals or institutions or for acts and disrespect. If anybody disrespect the court, then Supreme Court has the power to punish them. If someone is obstructing the functioning of the judiciary, then that person also can be punished by the court. Okay. Now next one, guardian of the constitution. Supreme Court is the protector and guardian of the constitution, that we know it. Now next one, powers in the case of national emergency. During national emergency, Supreme Court ensures the emergency provisions are implemented without violating the constitutional principles. It is a duty of Supreme Court to check whether any violation is there in the case of constitutional principles. Okay. Now power of American Supreme Court. Power of American Supreme Court. So simple over here. So original jurisdiction similar to Indian Supreme Court, handle cases involving ambassadors, public ministers and disputes between states. Number one, very simple. And then appellate jurisdiction reviews cases from lower federal courts, similar to India. Then judicial review, simple. Okay. Similar to India. It was established in 1803 and the famous Marbury and Madison case was the important highlight. During that case only this judicial review process came into existence in USA. Similarly, guardian of the US Constitution. Supreme Court is the guardian of the Constitution. Okay. Now next one, what is meant by judicial review and what are the principles and maxims that we have to go through it. As I told you, laws are passed by legislature. Okay, but if any of the law or part of law are challenged in the court, then court has the right to check its validity, whether the laws passed by legislature is as per the constitution or not. So what are the principles of judicial review or what are the maxims of judicial review? Okay, so 6 are there, any 4 you can go through it. First of all, so supremacy of the constitution. Okay, the principles of judicial review proves that the constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay, all laws, executive actions, administrative decisions must conform to its provisions. Every law should be passed in accordance with the constitution of the country. Okay, rule of law. Second one is rule of law. Second principle of judicial review is rule of law. The principle of rule of law asserts that no one, including government, is above law. No one is above law. No one is above. Even the government is also not above law. Okay. The next one is doctrine of limited government. Judicial review enforces the idea that governmental powers is unlimited and must operate within the constitutional boundary. Whatever the government does must be done within the constitutional boundary. They cannot go or make or pass any laws which don't have any provision in the constitution. Okay. Now next one, fundamental rights. So even in India also Supreme Court is the protector of fundamental rights. So here in America also fundamental rights are protected by the US Supreme Court. Okay. Okay. Now next one, judicial review in India. What is meant by judicial review? So it is mentioned enabling law. So this don't need to go through it. Now this one you go through it. Landmark cases related to judicial review. The first one is Kesavananda Bharti case versus State of Kerala 1973. Please go through it. Sometime they ask you. In 1973, Kesavananda Bharti versus State of Kerala case was there, and this case established the basic structure of the constitution. The next one, Minerva Mills and Union of India 1980 reinforced judicial review as part of constitution's basic structure. So these are some of the things which you need to keep it in mind. Now the most important thing, what is meant by judicial activism and what is meant by judicial review? Judicial review. What is meant by judicial activism? What is meant by judicial review? Sorry, judicial restraint. The first of all, so judicial activism. What is meant by judicial activism? When court takes an active role in addressing social and political issues. Okay, if the political parties, if the government fails to take up the issues of social and political issues, then it is the duty of Supreme Court, or Supreme Court actively participates or performs the role in addressing the social or political issues, often stepping into the domain of executive. Sometimes they even step into the domain of executive and legislature. That is known as judicial activism. Okay, judicial activism, that proactive role of a judiciary. Proactive role of a judiciary. Now, what is mean a judicial restraint? So, as you know that the judicial review provision is there. So, one must keep it in mind that whatever laws are challenged, Supreme Court judges must restrict them strictly from striking of the law as unconstitutional. They must try to stop as much as possible to declare the law as unconstitutional. So when court limits their role in interpreting law strictly and avoid interfering with the policy of matter legislative decision, because when laws are passed in the legislature, then definitely what has to be done, it needs to understand that the judicial review, whenever it comes to them, they must try to restrict them from striking any law as null and void. Okay, so this is about judicial activism and judicial restraint. Proactive role of judiciary, and judicial restraint means restricting oneself from striking any law, declaring it to be unlawful or unconstitutional. They must try their best to keep it state. If there is no way, then they can declare it as null and void. Okay. Now, so this is all about judiciary. So judiciary part is over. The judiciary part is complete. Okay, now let us move on to section B. So section B, now I am going to start. No. Section B I am going to start. So Indian democracy, this part is very easy also. From this chapter you only need to know the meaning of the important features of a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay, only the meaning you have to go through it. Okay, so let me see. Only the meaning. So you can see here, executive, judiciary, and then section B. Yes, section B. So first of all we need to know what is mean by preamble. Yes, what is mean by preamble and meaning of the key words contained in the preamble. So we need to do only the important meaning. What is the meaning of sovereign? What is the meaning of socialist? What is the meaning of secular, democratic, republic? Rest not required. Okay, now see here. Sovereign. What is the meaning of sovereign? Sovereign means India is free. India is a sovereign country. India is internally and externally free from external control. Okay, and then second one, socialist. That means the wealth of the country is equally distributed among the people. So why? The government aims to reduce inequality and promote social welfare. Then third one, secular. India has no religion. India has no religion. India is a secular country. Sorry, India has no state religion. All the religions are equal. All the religions are treated equally in our country. And democracy. So in democracy, power rests with the people who elect the representative through free and fair election. Republic. That means what is mean by republic? So republic. India is a republic where head of the state is elected and who does not possess any hereditary right. Okay, so these are the important: sovereignty, socialist, secular meaning, democratic meaning, and the republic meaning. Only you have to go through it. Okay, so first part is over now. Now the salient features of the Indian Constitution. The first one is written Constitution. Our Constitution is written. It is bulky. Okay, each and every articles are discussed in detail and defined and covered properly. It is a comprehensive It is very comprehensive because it covers wide range of topics from fundamental rights to the structure of judiciary. Okay, now what sources of the Indian Constitution? First source is British Constitution, is one of the source. Okay, regarding parliamentary system, the features of parliamentary system is borrowed from British Constitution. Then second source is American Constitution. The feature like a concept of judicial review and fundamental right are borrowed from American Constitution. Then Irish Constitution, that means directive principles are borrowed from Irish Constitution, the Constitution of Ireland. Federal structure is borrowed from Canadian Constitution. Emergency provisions whichever are there in the Constitution are borrowed from Australian Constitution. Okay, now next important feature or the salient feature of Indian Constitution is that India has a federal structure of unitary spirit. You know it, India is federal as well as unitary in spirit. So Indian Constitution is partly rigid and partly flexible. Okay, fundamental rights are mentioned in part 3 of our Constitution, and fundamental duties are mentioned in part 4 of the Constitution. Okay, directive principles are mentioned in part 4 of our Constitution. Okay, and we have a parliamentary form of government. The parliamentary form of government is also known as a cabinet form of government. And in India we have a single citizenship. Unlike some other countries like in America, double citizenship is granted, but in India we go for single citizenship. And the parliament is bicameral. Two houses are there, Lok Sabha, which is known as lower house, and Rajya Sabha, which is known as upper house, also known as Council of States. And the elections are conducted on the basis of UAF, Universal Adult Franchise. Every citizen of India who have crossed the age of 18 they are given the right to vote. They are given the right to vote. Okay, and we have a single integrated independent judiciary. Integrated means from Supreme Court to subordinate court, Supreme Court, High Court, and subordinate to all are integrated. Okay, and the next one, independent judiciary. Our judiciary is completely independent from executive and legislature. And Supreme Court also has the power of judicial review, where if anyone challenges the law passed by legislature can be reviewed by the Supreme Court, and if it is against the Constitution, Supreme Court can declare it as null and void. Okay, emergency powers are also there. Okay, now let us move on to the another important chapter, fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, are you there? Yeah, I told you in judiciary you have to do the meaning as well as conditions for independence of judiciary, judicial review, and its maxims also you have to do. Okay, the next one, let us move on to fundamental rights. Are you all there? Can you hear me? Am I audible? सुनाई दे रहा हूँ? प्लीज़ कोई जवाब दे मुझे. आगे बढ़ूँ कि यहीं पर रोक दूँ? Should I continue? Should I continue? There is no response at all. So fundamental rights we are going to discuss. So there is no response from you all. Should I continue or no need to do this? You already have done it. Fundamental rights. Now I am going to start. What is this POK? Okay, so let me continue. I'll finish it. Fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are the basic rights, you all know it. Fundamental rights are the basic rights given to the citizens of the country. What is this POK? I don't understand. Fundamental rights, meaning and importance. So fundamental rights are the basic rights guaranteed to all citizens of the country. Okay, so part 3 of our constitution consists of fundamental rights. Fundamental right is mentioned in part 3 of our constitution. Okay, now these fundamental rights are protected by judiciary. Our fundamental rights are protected by judiciary, and fundamental rights are justiciable. That means if anyone's fundamental rights are infringed, they can approach to the court. The meaning is justiciable means they can approach to the court if their fundamental rights are infringed. Okay, now let us discuss about some of the rights. The first one is right to equality, mentioned in article number 14 to 18. Article 14 deals with equality before law. Okay, article 15 prohibition of discrimination. Article number 6 equal opportunity. Article number 17 abolition of untouchability, and article number 18 abolition of title. Once again, article number 14 equality before law. Article number 15 prohibition of discrimination. Article number 16 equal opportunity. Article number 17 abolition of untouchability, and article number 18 abolition of titles. This you have to keep it in mind. Now next one, article number 19 to 22 deals with right to freedom. So right to freedom, article number 19. So you can see here freedom of speech. You might have studied in the lower classes in class 7 and all. Freedom of speech, expression, freedom of assembly, freedom to form association. Okay, freedom of movement. You can move within the country. You can reside in any part of the country, anywhere in the country. You can choose any profession of your choice. Okay, so this comes under article number 19. Article number 19. Okay, legislature and executive we have already done yesterday. You can see the yesterday's video. Okay, next one, article number 20 protection of rights. Article number 20 protection of rights related to conviction. If you are convicted, then this right will protect you. Okay, the next one, article number 21 right to life and personal liberty. Simple. Article number 22 protection of against arrest and detention of certain crises. So you must remember, you must go through this part. Okay, right to equality is important. Then let us move on to right to freedom is also important. Then let us move on to right to freedom of religion is also important. Okay, these three things you must go through it. Okay, article number 23 prohibition of human trafficking. Article number 24 prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14. That you don't need to go through it. There we don't have to study everything in detail. Okay, just you remember the articles. Then article number 15, 25 to 28 deals with freedom of religion. Freedom of religion, you can go through it from your book also. Okay, cultural and educational right 29 and 30. Right to constitutional remedy. So most of the time the questions are asked in case studies based on fundamental rights. So you must know which of the rights are infringed in that particular case. Okay, now other aspect of fundamental rights we are not going to do. What is the importance of fundamental rights? First importance is that it protects the arbitrary actions of the government. Then foundation of democracy, promotes social justice, secures dignity and equality. So importance of fundamental rights, you can make an right also. Okay, now next one, directive principles of state policy. So you know that DPSP in short it is known as, it is mentioned in part 4 of our constitution, and article number 36 to 51 deals with the directive principles of state policy. Remember, article 36 to 51 deals with the directive principles of state policy, and one must know that fundamental rights are justiciable, whereas the directive principle state policy is not at all justiciable. Okay, now the classification of directive principle, first one is liberal principles. Okay, the most importantly you have to go through Gandhian principle. Okay, so here also article number 39 you must go through it. Educate means of livelihood. Okay, then one more is there, okay, this organization of village panchayats comes under Gandhian principles. Okay, Gandhian principles. So Gandhian principles, promotion of cottage and cooperative societies, then organization of agriculture, and prohibition of slaughter of cows and calves, which is mentioned in your textbook also. Okay, this you can go through it. And the last one is socialist principle. This part you can go through it. Just remember the differences between this, you have to go through it. Okay, difference between fundamental right and directive principles, you have to go through it. Difference between okay. Now difference between, please go through it. Okay, they may ask you in the last part where case studies are there. Fundamental rights, human rights. Just remember the highlight. Fundamental rights are human rights. What is directive principle? Direction to the government. Okay, fundamental rights are justiciable. Directive principles are non-justiciable. Fundamental rights are for the individual rights. Then directive principles are for the societal goals. Fundamental rights are protected. Okay, and fundamental rights are not enforced by law. Okay, and purpose. What is the purpose of fundamental right? To protect the individual freedoms and rights of the citizens. Okay, and what is the purpose of directive principle? To ensure welfare state, so welfare society of, and the promotion of social justice. This thing you must keep it in mind. Okay, so we have completed DPSP also. Remember, fundamental right is mentioned in part 3, directive principle in part 4. Okay, and one more is there, part 4a, fundamental duties are there in part 4a. I have already highlighted that time. I don't know where it has gone. Okay, for 4a. Okay, now next one, let us move on to the most important part, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. They may ask you the features, 73rd or 74th features they can ask you. Okay, they can ask you. So the 73rd Amendment Act we are going to do. Are you understanding? Okay, anyhow, let me finish it. So I have started, so I'll finish it. Okay, now next one is there, like fundamental features of 73rd Amendment Act. Please go through it. Okay, both 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, you must go through it. It was enacted in 1992. When was this Constitutional Amendment Act amended? 1992. Okay, now next one is features. You can see here, 73rd Amendment Act for rural local self-government. So what is to be done? Everything is mentioned in 73rd Amendment Act. Panchayats at village, intermediate, district level are given constitutional status. Direct elections for panchayat members at all levels. Reservation of seats are there for ST, SC. Okay, establishment of state election commission. Provision of devolution of powers. Okay, and the creation of state finance commission. So all these are mentioned in 73rd Amendment Act. So you can go through from your textbook also. Okay, 74th Amendment also same, you can go through your textbook also. It is given in detail and it is given clearly. Okay, so let me see anything else we can do. Okay, let me see important 73rd Amendment Act. Let me see what I have done. 73rd Amendment Act. So you can see here, this one also you can study. 73rd Amendment Act, it is made to compulsory for all state to implement the three. You can please take the screenshot if possible. This one, 73rd Amendment Act, you can study from here also. Any 4 points are enough. From here you can do it. Okay, okay, now let us move on to local self-government. Okay, local self-government. Okay, now two more things are there, 11th and 12th schedule. So this 11th and 12th schedule, what is the importance, what is the significance, you have to go through it. So what is the importance of 11th schedule? They may ask you, what is the importance of 11th schedule? Okay, it was introduced by 73rd Amendment Act 1992. and focus of this 11th schedule was on rural local self government. Altogether 29 subjects were mentioned in 11th schedule to be over considered. Now what is the significance of 11th schedule? What is the significance of 11 schedules? Number 1, it empowers panchayats to plan and implement schemes related to rural government. Okay. The next one, then second one is covers areas like agriculture, education, health, sanitation, water supply and social welfare. And third one aims to promote self-governance and grassroots democracy. So this is the significance of 11th schedule. Now what is the significance of 12th schedule? It is mentioned on it was introduced by 74th Amendment Act. This is for municipalities, and how many subjects? 18 subjects are mentioned. So what is the significance? Provides functional responsibilities to municipalities and then includes urban planning, road, water supply, public health, slums improvement and environmental protection, and strengthens urban governance to address the needs of growing cities. Just go through any 2 points, enough. Okay, just take the screenshot. Significance of 11th schedule and 12th schedule. Okay, now next one. So these these notes are prepared by me, and these notes are available with me, and this is not for this is for my for my preparation. Okay, so now let us move on to the composition and function of Jilla Parishad. Very simple, composition Jilla Parishad. I think you can do it. Shall I move forward? The last part is there. You can do it. Jilla Parishad and municipal corporation, you can do this one yourself only. What are the compositions of composition of Jilla Parishad? So Jilla Parishad is composed of elected representatives from all constituencies in district. Chairperson is there, vice chairperson is there, those who are elected, and the members, MLAs and MPs are also there. And some seats are reserved for ST, SC and women also. Function you can go through from your book also. Okay, now next one, composition and function of municipal corporation. So what is the composition? Municipal corporation is composed of elected members who are known as councillors, and the head is known as the mayor. Okay, head is known as the mayor, and then municipal commissioner is also there. Okay, seats are reserved for ST and SC as well as women also. Okay. The function is urban planning, water supply, sanitation, public health, street lighting. So all these are very simple. You can go through it. Traffic management, public amenities like parks, market, waste disposals. Okay. So all this you can go through it. Now the last chapter is democracy in India. I don't think required. You can do it yourself also. Okay. Done. Just go through it. What is mean by casteism? Okay. What is mean by casteism? Just go through it. Casteism is a belief in adherence to the caste system. It involves separation on the basis of caste. So casteism is not very new in our country. The caste system is deeply rooted in our history, and even today it is continuing. Okay. Now next one. Now I am not going to do the last part. What is mean by regionalism? Regionalism refers to political culture. This part refers to political, cultural, economic and social assertion of specific geographical region within a country. It arises when people of a region prioritize their identity, needs and aspirations over national unity or interest. They give importance to the regions above the country. Okay. So this part, just go through this. Okay. Linguistic regionalism, sons of the soil policy, river water dispute and demand for new state. Okay, all these are very very important from regionalism. They may ask you. Okay, you can go through, you can study from your textbook also. Okay, Kalyani publication is there, no? From there that book is very good. You can go through it. Okay, all the notes whichever were given in the class, you can follow that one. Okay, now next one, political violence. This also, all this you can make and write. So So last chapter is not very difficult that you cannot do it. If question comes from this part, you can make your answers on the basis of your understanding, as well as whatever is happening around you will help you to answer these questions. Okay. Different type of political violence are there: language violence, linguistic violence, secessionist violence, if anyone wants to separate from the state. Terrorist activities are there, caste based violence is there, electoral during election violence occur, that is there, politics or violent agitations are there. All these type of violence are there, you can go through it. Okay, now this part I'll suggest you to go through it. Explain the measures to overcome the challenges faced by Indian democracy. The first of all, the most important thing is that social and economic inequalities must be eliminated. So whatever differences are there in our country, like social differences, economic inequalities, that must be eliminated in order to overcome the challenges faced by Indian democracy. Okay, the next one, securing total literacy. As you know that in India maximum people are illiterate, no? So therefore for increasing, in order to spread, you need to increase the budget of your education system. Okay, elimination of communalism. Whatever communalism is present in our country, Hindu, Muslim, this, that, and all, that must be eliminated. And everything is possible if you give them proper education without poisoning their minds. A proper education if you give them, then this can be eliminated easily and democracy can run successfully. Okay, and then the most important, promotion of secularism. Promotion of secularism, very very important. So our education system must be reformed. Okay, our education system must be reformed. It must be made a system working for popularizing secular way of living. Okay, in every schools and colleges the importance of secularism must be taught to the students. Okay, then we can come across a very good India. Then zero tolerance for violence and terrorism. So no tolerance for violence as well as terrorism. So they must be punished strictly. They must be punished strictly. Okay. Okay, now so we have already come to an end of political science section B also. Okay, done. Any queries? So should I end it? Everything is done. So all the important topics I have already discussed in the last 3 videos, first, second and third. This is a third video, and every important things I have touched. I did not skip any part, only whichever were easy, which you can do it, that only I did not do. Rest everything I touched. Now let us do this part also, case studies are there. Like in the last part of the question, you will be given 8 marks. You will be given a small paragraph, and on the basis of the paragraph you have to answer it. Okay, this one we are going to do it. Okay, read the case given below and answer the question that follow. Nidhi, a citizen of India, was an editor and publisher of journal in English that published articles on political issues. One of the state government banned the entry and circulation of her journal in its state under its maintenance of public order. In response to the ban, Nidhi filed a writ petition before the Supreme Court claiming that the powers under the Act were an excessive restriction and had curtailed her fundamental right. In response, the state argued that the restriction was for purpose of public safety and public order. So this is a small paragraph, and the question is asked from this paragraph. First of all, which fundamental right of Nidhi was violated by the action of the state government? So answer is freedom, that means freedom of speech and expression, which comes under article number 91. Okay, freedom of speech and expression. Now next one, briefly comment on the importance of fundamental rights. You can do it. What is the importance of fundamental right? You can easily write that one. Okay, next one, fundamental rights may be subject to reasonable restriction by the state. Any 4 reasons which reasonable restriction may be imposed. Now whenever there is a security of the state, in order to prevent threat like rebellion, war or violent acts, state can impose reasonable restriction on your fundamental rights. The next one is public order. Public order. Okay, to avoid riots, violence and disturbance in society, they may restrict your fundamental rights. Okay, suspend your fundamental rights temporarily. Okay, defamation, to prevent individuals from making false statement that harm someone's reputation. In that case also your fundamental right can be infringed. Okay, fundamental rights are granted but not guaranteed. Any time the fundamental rights can be taken away from you. Okay, so use your fundamental rights wisely. The next one you can see here. Next case, Bharti, a 12 years old girl, belongs to a family that faces financial hardship. She helps her mother every day with household chores. Okay, she does not attend school. Which fundamental right has been violated in the case given above? So right to education is violated over here. Okay, which article in Indian Constitution contains this right? So this contains right to education, contain article number 21A. Okay, briefly explain the fundamental right identified above. Right to education you have to explain. Okay. Okay, now next, which fundamental right can be deployed? Okay, yeah, which fundamental right can be deployed to redress the violation of other fundamental rights? Answer is constitutional remedies. Okay. B.R. Ambedkar called Article 32 the heart and soul. Which article is called the heart and soul of the Constitution? Which article? Article number 32. Which article is called the heart and soul of the Constitution? Article number 32. Article number 32. The next one you can see here. Fundamental rights and dietary principles are complementary to each other. Freedom and societies go hand in hand. Each is enriched by others. What is the purpose of dietary principles? What is the purpose? The purpose is to establish socio-economic democracy. And any 2 fundamental freedoms as mentioned article number 19, that you can easily do. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Okay, any 2 differences they may ask you. Okay, fundamental rights are enforceable, dietary principles are not enforceable. Fundamental rights are for the individual rights, and dietary principles are for the socio-economic justice. So this 2 you can go through it. Okay, now one more. An incident involving an undergraduate student belonging to Dalit community was reported by a newspaper. This student had gone to a local restaurant for lunch in a village and was denied entry by the restaurant staff. The incident brought to light similar other restrictions followed by some other restaurants in the village. Okay, now identify the fundamental rights violated in the above case. Which fundamental right is violated over here? Right to equality is violated. Okay, which part of the Constitution contains fundamental rights? So you know, fundamental right is contained in part 3 of our Constitution. Easy. Okay, then briefly discuss the provision of the fundamental right that has been violated in the case given above. So article number 15, prohibition of discrimination. Okay, denying the entry of Dalit student. No, prohibition of discrimination. The next one, this one, see, any 2 reads. Briefly explain the fundamental right. Right to constitutional remedies is there. Habeas corpus, mandamus, which we have already done earlier. Okay, so these are the case based questions. Okay, case studies. So it will completely be based on fundamental rights and directive principles. So one more you can see here. Mohan is in 10th standard. His father got transferred and family moved to Delhi from Guwahati, Assam. Mohan is denied admission in any nearby school as father could not afford fees. So which fundamental right is violated here? Again, the right to education, right? Article number 21A. Why is fundamental right important? You know, why is fundamental right? This fundamental right important. Why is the right to education important? To ensure free and compulsory education for children age 6 to 14. Okay, that we know it. Okay, so few more. So this all I am not saying that this will come, just I am showing you the example. This type of case studies will be given to you. A few questions will be there, 4 questions or sometimes 3 questions. You have to do it. Okay, all together I made many, but okay, this one you see this. 60k kids, 60,000 kids still out of school. 60,000 kids still out of school. Okay. Refer to the picture given above and answer the question that follow. Identify the fundamental right of the children highlighted in it. Mention the article number. So this again is about right to education. RTE, right to education. Okay, and this right to education is mentioned in Article 21A of the Indian Constitution. Okay, now, okay, done. Which other rights given in the Constitution grants protection to children? So article number 24. Okay, so which one? Article number 39 E and F. Okay, which direct the state to ensure children are not abused and are given opportunities to develop in healthy manner. Okay, over. So these are the things. Okay, so finally we have come to the end of this session also. We have come to the end of this session. Okay, so hope this session was quite easy for you. So did you found this session helpful? Please drop a comment in the comment box later on. Okay, and I hope that the paper for political science would be very easy for you. No need to worry at all. Okay, no need to panic, just go through it whatever is taught and the paper will be very easy and you can come out with a good and happy mood after the exam. Okay, thank you very much. So is there any queries? Is there any queries? You want to ask me anything? Anything you want to ask? No? Anything? So we have come to the end of this session. So altogether we have done 3 videos and if this paper will be very easy, don't worry. So if you want okay, let me show you. If you are not satisfied with this live session, then you can go through this also. I'll show you. This is my channel. Okay, this is my channel. Okay, so here you'll get a playlist of political science. This is the one, political science, ISC class 12 political science. You will get all the videos, whichever topics you want, you will get all the videos from here and you can watch it. Okay, each and every topics are discussed over here. Complete syllabus is given over here, you can go through it. Okay, so thank you very much for being with me and hopefully you found this session helpful also. If yes, then please share it and please subscribe also if you have not subscribed. Okay, thank you very much. So thank you. Paper will be very easy, no need to worry. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Okay, all the best for political science exam. Okay, bye.